podcast. I'm your host, actress, comedian, Shondalia White. And you guessed it, I can't eat shit, y'all. I can't, no. Am I a doctor? No. I'm just a woman. When you take her out to eat, she can't eat anything on the menu 90% of the time. So, if you're like me and you piss people off when you go out with them, this podcast is for you. If you've gotten a little older and your gut ain't gutting, yeah, this podcast is for you too. And if you are just interested in me and my health and wellness journey and want to be a little bit nosy, I love it. This podcast is for you too, so stay tuned. I created I Can't Eat Shit podcast because I was secretly ill for many years due to gut health, anxiety, and food allergies and so much more. And now I'm healed. I'm healed and I'm so thankful for it. And I want to share my health and wellness journey with you. So maybe it can answer some questions because people have been asking me questions. But maybe it'll answer these questions you've been asking, or maybe give you another way to look at your own health and wellness journey. This episode is about the things that sizzle. Like acid reflux and GERD and spicy foods. So, let's get into it. Can you hear it? I've always wanted to do that. Let's get into it. That was ASMR. Have you heard of ASMR? I hadn't either. I heard about it when I was doing a voiceover audition, and clearly I went down a rabbit hole and found a bunch of stuff about it. And it was really cool because there's like a whole community of people doing videos and stimulating people with crackles and whispers and, things that sizzle. So I thought it would be perfect for this episode. And if you aren't familiar with ASMR, it is autonomous sensory meridian response, super technical. Basically, what happens when people hear like crackles and whispers and accents and things along those lines, it gives them a brain massage, literally a brain massage sensation in their head. So you might be like that. Did you feel anything? Who knows? Go check it out. But I thought it was perfect as we're talking about the things that sizzle and burn and cause acid reflux. Yes. Have you dealt with that? Acid reflux? I dealt with it for a very, very long time, and I'm going to tell you about my whole experience. So let's start just when you're young, right? I ate a lot of spicy food growing up. I'm Black, y'all, so, Creole, Cajun food that we're eating it. And we're putting hot sauce on a lot of stuff. So that's how I grew up. I grew up eating hot Cheetos, and I love hot Cheetos. I used to. I can't eat it now because, my gut got messed up. But before that, I ate it forever, and I just loved spicy snacks so much so that I would put hot stuff on cheese chips and everything. It got bad, but it was fun while it lasted. Anyway, as I got older, I started to develop acid reflux, and it wasn't anything terrible. I was just kind of basically take like a Tums or Pepto-Bismol or something like that, and I'll be good. But over time, that was not the best thing to do, and it was bad for my body, and it wouldn't really make me feel great. So yeah, then of course I didn't do anything about it for real at that time. I ignored it, and I kept eating spicy things. And I love jalapenos, and I love like tomato sauces and stuff like that. I can't do it. Now I can't do it at all. And as I started to realize like, oh, this is affecting my body. This is sticking. You know what I mean? I realized like I couldn't have black pepper. I couldn't have paprika. That's not even spicy. And I couldn't have it. I can't have white pepper. I can't have red pepper flakes. You know how you put red pepper flakes? They put it on a lot of sauces when you go out or inside of it, and they'll tell you. And even when you ask them, is it in there? They'll tell you, oh, no, it's not. And it is. If you get any type of pizza or anything like that, you want to throw a little red pepper flakes and make it taste really good, but can't eat it. And as it got to the point where simple things that aren't even spicy necessarily would make my stomach irritated, I had to start paying attention to it. So I developed GERD, which is a very intense, serious form of acid reflux. And I'm talking about, it got to the point where we can be standing right in front of each other, and you could probably hear the acid going from my stomach to my throat, like backing down like a Bellagio water fountain, honey. It was bad. And I was like, what is that sound? Yeah, it's the acid going up and down my body. Just awful. I don't wish that on anybody. I think at that time I had burnt like even my throat, and I always felt like nauseous and stuff. Like it was always something also in my throat. Like even with a sip of water, I would feel like something was stuck. And after the waterfall started coming out of my mouth, you're welcome. If you're eating, yeah, it gets a little gross, but it was time to do something about it. So I did. So I got sick of the shits, and I had to take control of my life. And the way that I did it was by changing my diet and lifestyle. You're going to hear this a lot on this podcast. Let me just warn you, I've had to change my diet and lifestyle a bunch of times. It's because like things would change and my body would change, or like I would find out I couldn't eat something else and I had to change it. And there's a big story about that, but that'll come in another episode because it'll take forever. But anyway, I had to change everything. And that's one of the reasons I think a lot of people think I'm vegan. Listen, I was vegan for a long time at one point. But when you can't eat stuff, people just assume you vegan. It's a lot of other people out there that can't eat things that aren't vegan, y'all. And I'm not vegan. And I do indulge in delicious vegan meals. And I make them. You can get them out to eat. But I'm not vegan. And you'll see me share vegan, pescatarian, and full-blown meat eater meals on here. So don't worry about it. Anyway, back on track. My nutritionist was the first line of defense for me. And so she helped me adjust that lifestyle and diet. First thing she did was have me take out spicy foods, harsh oils like canola oil and vegetable oil. I know it's a big debate about if it's harsh or not. It's harsh for me, okay? And I think it's harsh for a lot of people because I found that out as I was looking up what to do. So anyway, harsh oils like that, and they put it in almost everything when you go out to eat. You really got to ask them to switch to oils. I couldn't do any type of tomatoes, not even sun-dried tomatoes, and those are pretty sweet, but I couldn't do those either. We already know about the Creole and Cajun seasoning, and I love, it's like that main Cajun seasoning and Creole seasoning that I can't use it. I'm so mad. Anything with any type of peppers or fried food, can't do it. That's gone. So air fryer, hey now, we in there. And let me see. I want to look. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I said something about the red pepper flakes and stuff like that before. Oh no, onions. Can't do onions. Now I can get into the grilled onions a little bit if they're like sweet onions, but for the most part I can't do onions. And that back then I couldn't do any onions. It didn't matter what it was. And that means no gumbo. That means no African food. That means, honestly, a lot of different foods. That means no Italian food. It really limited the type of stuff that I could eat. And I had to get really, really creative. So a lot of people end up asking me like, okay, what do you do? What do you eat? And I do eat some things. I just had to substitute. So how did you substitute? Well, I had to substitute with like herb blends and like olive oil based sauces. And I do a lot of experimenting in the kitchen. I can cook. Your girl can cook. And I had to do a lot of experimenting just to get that same flavor, or something close to an equivalent from what I used to do. And I'll be sharing one of those with you up next. Also, one of the lifestyle changes before we get up into that is I could not I kept going to sleep after I would eat. I would just I wasn't getting the proper nutrition from food, and I was just passing out, like literally for over an hour. It was bad. But one of the things she told me to do was sleep at an angle if I was doing that, so that I wouldn't have so many problems with the acid reflux and GERD, and it definitely helped. But let's get into one of these recipes. That's what I had to do. This segment is called There's Another Way to Do That, where I teach you how I modify my recipes based on my restrictions. So I'm a foodie, and I love good food and good seasonings. So when I was told that I couldn't eat pizza anymore, I almost lost my mind. I have multiple pizza stones at home. I got the thing that you flip it. I got all that. And I can't even use it. So I was sad. So I had to find another way to do that. And I'm going to teach you today. So we are going to make a gluten-free, dairy-free chicken pesto pizza. And we're replacing all the things that sizzle. So instead of having cheese, we don't have no cheese at all. I can't eat cheese. Instead of having tomatoes and tomato-based sauces, we're going to do the pesto olive oil-based sauce. And instead of a gluten crust or regular crust or anything like that, we're going to do a gluten-free crust. And what about vegan cheese, Shondalia? Can't do vegan cheese either. I can't. But if you can, go for it. But I can't. So the reason I can't is because it has harsh oils in it, like vegetable oil or canola oil or legumes powder, which is like a chickpea or some kind of peas or bean powder or something. That messes up my stomach, so I can't do it. If you can do it, once again, do it. And stick with me. It's really good how I'm doing this, okay? Go in the show notes, cook along with me. There's another way to do that segment, full cooking segment that I do on TikTok and here on YouTube. Check me out, cook along with me, and let me know how you like the recipe. I might even throw it on Instagram. Check it out. Before we go, I just want to say to all my restrictive food eating diet foodies out there, all my friends, there's hope for us. You can still eat nice, flavorful, interesting dishes without all the extra stuff, all the things that are going to give you GERD and acid reflux and make you all the inflammation flare up and make you vomit and all that fun stuff. You can do it without it. You can do it without it. It's just going to take a little time and patience, but you got this. Stay the course. We still in there. We still got good food. Also, if you're one of those people who has some type of underlying condition or something you've been ignoring for a very long time with your body, you know who you are. Do something about it. Don't just sit there. It ain't going to go away, boo. It ain't going away. You got to do something. Go get it checked out. Take it from me. You got to take care of your body so it can take care of you, or you're going to be dealing with a lot of shit. This has been I Can't Eat Shit Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. If you like what you saw or heard today, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe I Can't Eat Shit Podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcasts or stream them or here on YouTube, you know what to do. Also, you can follow me at I Can't Eat Shit Podcast on Instagram, and you can follow me personally at Shondalia White. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. I Can't Eat Shit! I Can't Eat Shit Podcast is not a replacement for a medical professional. If you need help, seek out a trained medical professional, nutritionist, or therapist to help you with your specific needs.